Well,
Hey guys, how's it
hello,
going?
Julia.
We're good. Thank you for dealing with us winding Jesse up and letting him just
Hey, I
really
feel like I learned a lot. I'm sitting over here taking notes. It's all good.
nice. That's awesome. Yeah, it was pretty relevant actually to what you work on. So yeah, really excited to chat. I think you're kind of an expert in a thing that crypto generally sucks at, which is getting distribution and attention outside of crypto Twitter. So really excited to dive into some of your insights here. So you're a self-proclaimed organic growth girl, which I love seeing that in your Twitter bio. So founder of Playkit, which offers fully managed UGC ambassador programs for consumer apps, as well as the founder of a UGC tracker product that helps brands track and manage their UGC creators at scale. So I think I wanted to just kind of start off level setting on really like the distribution opportunity that TikTok presents. So I wonder if you can just talk about why you and seemingly everybody else is all in on UGC TikTok campaigns really as the killer distribution strategy for consumer apps.
Yeah, for sure. It's such an interesting opportunity right now. I think organic is really starting to beat out paid. Traditionally, you can't really go viral overnight and climb to the top charts of the App Store without putting a ton of money into it. But now with really leveraging creators and leveraging just like consumer psychology in general, you're able to pump out a couple of videos. And if you're lucky, maybe one will get 500K, a million plus views, and all of a sudden you brought in tens of thousands of dollars in revenue, which is just like not an opportunity that existed before. And it's fairly easy once you figure it out. It's not hard to go viral. It's not hard to figure out, oh, is this hook going to get people to comment? Yeah, it's a very easy skill to learn. And I think people are just starting to figure that out and really starting to leverage it.
Yeah, very cool. Go, Jess.
I'm just curious, is there like we've talked to a variety of folks that do similar things to you, and there's a variety of approaches taken, and it seems as if there's sort of like packages that emerge that I'm trying to discern whether those packages are just easy to buy for companies or if they represent like a core of a strategy that is actually incredibly effective. So yeah, like do we just buy a package from you and all of a sudden you help us go viral? Is it that easy?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, typically where I'm like choosing to work with a client, I have like criteria, that I look for. Not everything can go viral on TikTok, right? Like I wouldn't really work with like a B2B product targeted towards like execs because all my creators are like 20 years old. So it wouldn't really make any sense. But yeah, it is easier than you think to craft things in a way and manipulate the comment sections to get people asking about, hey, what app is this? Or how do I do this? How do I fix this problem? And train your creators to comment things back. It's really interesting. It's a little bit scary, but it's moving in a way that is really powerful.
Why is it scary?
I think it's just like once you're in the space and you realize so much is fake that you don't know it's fake. I always bring back the example of like my favorite songs that I think I like organically found on places like TikTok or Instagram. I'm like, oh no, they're just like fully doing a campaign. Like I'm just getting fed advertisements and I have truly no idea. Or even if you comment something you're struggling with and somebody replies back with a product recommendation, you think it's very organic and very wholesome, they're probably being paid to do that as well. So it's like, what can you really trust? It's really interesting.
Right. Can you talk? So you talk a lot about the importance of leading with kind of controversial hooks and appealing emotionally to to a very specific target audience on TikTok. So I'm curious if you could just talk a bit more about kind of the core properties of a great viral video that really effectively acquires users.
Yeah, I think for marketing, the same way that we think about it with products, it's really important to think about the entire user journey. So when you make a video, you have to think about where is that video finding people? Most of the time, people who are scrolling on TikTok chronically, maybe they're sitting alone in a room in their bed in the dark, they're lonely, they're struggling with whatever it may be. Your goal with that video is to break that person out of that addictive doom scroll that we've all experienced before. Get them to leave this app they're addicted to, download yours, try it out, and then maybe even come back to that original TikTok video and leave a great review. That's like the ideal flow. So you need to make content that feels so personal to that user. It's like, oh, this video is really for me. It's solving my pain points. It's helping me figure out whatever I need to figure out. And if you can do that, then you've really created a great funnel for conversion, and then also for user testimonials for other people to see in those comment sections.
Got it. When you're working with your creators to, try to create videos that have those properties, is it just kind of throw spaghetti at the wall, try 10 and see what sticks, or are there kind of some specific, workshops or ways of thinking that they lean on to do that?
Yeah, in the beginning, it's a lot of, all right, let's just see what works. We do a big deep dive on kind of understanding the target user and what pain points they're going through and how they already communicate on socials. So like a big part of the process is seeing how these topics are already talked about on socials. How are people talking about it in the comment section? What emojis are they using? What slang are they using? So we try and match that as close as we can, and then also just add in the product there. So it feels very, very organic. But yeah, it is a lot of just, testing, figuring it out. And then as you go from there, you narrow down. And I think that's the great thing about socials too, is like you post something and a couple hours later, you're like, all right, this is going to be viral, or this is driving conversions. So you're able to iterate and make strategy changes really, really quickly.
So we're gonna have a guest later this week that's kind of diving into the world of clippers, right? The clipping. Apparently, the show is well suited for clippers, and so we're having a conversation. And so clipping is really like this. It was another one of those maybe scary, like the realization that pretty much anything you're seeing on shorts is probably a byproduct of some clip army that's been really trying to hack your attention in a pretty intense way. Does something like that live alongside what you're doing with TikTok? Or would they be seen as one and the same? How should we think about that?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm not too much in the clipping world, so I can't speak to it too well, but I think it's in the same way as you're trying to take up as much real estate as you can. I think Airbuzz is a great example of this. They're a consumer app. I think they're like a music social app, and they have like a creator army of, I don't know, maybe like 50, 100 creators that are posting a gajillion times a day. Every time you go on TikTok, you're like, oh my God, these kids are literally everywhere. And it's the same thing with clipping. So it's like take as much real estate as you can. I think clipping is more of like a low quality alternative to the UGC campaign. It also depends on the product that you're trying to promote. But yeah, both of those are just a volume game, it feels.
So it is still a volume game on the UGC side, but there's some higher level of quality or customization that it makes it worth the extra labor to put into it.
Yeah. I think with UGC, it's volume as one part of that, but then that volume also allows you to iterate on your strategy very, very quickly.
Julie, are you seeing? It seems like everyone's building consumer apps. It's like the new kind of Gen Z thing to do, and also everyone's distributing on TikTok. So I'm curious if you're seeing any signs of like saturation. Is it getting harder to go viral? If not, do you see that ever happening, or is this just kind of some distribution channel that's going to exist in perpetuity now?
I think consumers are starting to catch on to like UGC that is, truly being paid. We get comments that are like, oh, this is an advertisement. I've seen other people get that as well. So consumers are starting to catch on, and I think it's just a game of, okay, how do you continue to be super organic? So like now a lot of the times in our videos, we don't even mention the app. We just want to engineer the comments in a way where people are talking about, whatever the problem they're going through or looking for a solution to something. And then we use the comment sections to do that. So it feels like a conversation. It feels like a recommendation from a friend.
Yeah, interesting.
I'm curious. You're listening to the conversation with Jesse just before this, coining content. Do you have thoughts? Has that hit your radar? And
do you know what that means? Do you know what that means?
I'm so not in the crypto world that like I get.
That's a good answer, even in of itself.
Yeah.
Well, pitch it, Jess.
Well, so I guess the core idea is that every piece of content can have a token associated with it, essentially a fairly liquid price that generates revenue for the creators, and all of those individual pieces of content and the value that flows from it can flow up to a token that represents the creator. So we sort of have these on-chain mechanisms that can drive real on-chain value that can be programmatically distributed between all the participants in those markets and the creator. And so I think Jesse and Jacob and Zora team, I think, have been early adopters and builders of that mechanism. And I think there's some interesting questions around shifting value for creators and how they might get earned enduring over a period of time. There's some equity value that might emerge around these things. Maybe there's some interesting things you can do with market caps as far as distribution and sorting content, etc. And also the big critique against these sort of new emerging markets or networks is that there isn't anywhere near the scale of distribution that exists on something like a TikTok or an Instagram. And then how do we go across that chasm? And there are opinions of that on either side. So it's like Instagram with the token, basically. Every post is a token. We'll get there eventually. It looks like we're a little ways away.
It's super interesting. I think I don't know how any of this stuff works, but I think it works really well for like more the influencer side, right? Than like the typical UGC creator. Like for example, our creators make brand new accounts and have like, I don't know, 12 followers when they do it. So it's not as powerful. But I think like giving influencers and people the opportunity to coin themselves as a business essentially is a really powerful thing if that's kind of what that means.
Yeah, and we had Yancey on yesterday from Artist Corporation, and they're trying a very different tact at this, trying to say, okay, well, there's a corporation that can represent artists, and there can be equity value flowing to that as well. So maybe a part of the same meta category. But I mean, I think what is like the core insight here that anybody should take away, that if you're only getting right now, you're a little bit late, is that you do not need to have a gazillion followers on these networks to get distribution. And that is, I think, terrifying for some and should be incredibly empowering for many others. So if you're hearing Julia say that these new folks are creating new accounts, have 12 followers, and yet have some of their content go viral, at least there's a chance of that happening, really makes you think, well, why the hell are you not just throwing some, hopefully al dente pasta against the wall and see how it goes.
I like that.
Nice. Well, Julia, thanks so much for jumping on. Really appreciate it. Go check out Playkit if this is intriguing. I've heard a number of founders actually recently mention their desire to work with you guys. So you're clearly doing something right.
Awesome. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. This was fun.
Thanks, Julia.
Take care.